By their appearance, one can see why they are appropriately called fiddleheads. But what you're actually seeing here is an ostrich fern in its early stages. Fiddleheads grow fast, and before you know it, they will have unfurled into a fully mature 3 to 4 foot tall fern. At this stage, the ostrich fern becomes inedible, and so it is only in their fiddlehead form that they are good to eat. Fiddleheads grow in damp, even swampy soil, or in hardwood forests with rich soil. Although they are very easy to identify because of their unique appearance, there are several different species of fiddleheads, some of which are not edible. And so the species that I'm looking for today is of the ostrich fern variety. The good news is that it's easy to tell an ostrich fern fiddlehead apart from all the other inedible species. Once you've located a fiddlehead, there are 3 things you should look for to make sure it's the right kind. Number 1, the fiddlehead should have bits of brown papery material on it that can easily be picked off. The second sign you need to look for is that the stem of the fiddlehead is both smooth and free of any hairs. And thirdly, the stem of the fiddlehead should have a deep U-shaped groove. These 3 signs indicate that you have an ostrich fern fiddlehead, which means it's safe to eat. However, they should not be consumed raw. You'll have to properly cook them first before eating them. Before I continue, I'd like to show you an example of a fiddlehead that's not good to eat. Notice how these are fiddleheads, but they are clearly not of the edible kind. Let me prove it to you by using the 3 identifiers that I just listed. First of all, these fiddleheads are absent of any brown papery material. Secondly, the stem is not smooth, but is covered in fibers. And thirdly, the stem has no hollow U-shape to it. Instead, it is completely round. This tells us that this is definitely not the plant we want. Okay, let's return to the patch of edible fiddleheads that I discovered. When picking fiddleheads, only gather the ones that are less than 8 inches tall. If the fiddleheads are any taller, they are not good for eating. So when I pick fiddleheads, I usually play it safe and pick ones that are about 5 inches tall or shorter. Fiddleheads will grow in clusters, so when picking them, make sure to leave at least 1 or 2 of them behind, so that the fern plant will remain healthy.
Nice, I'll get these Trader's candies out of the way, and also this skunk vine. Of course, they're edible. You just eat them. Oh, on camera. Well, hello there. I'm Green Dean, and welcome to my 140th video here at EatTheWeeds.com. This time about these little babies, wild onions, or sometimes called wild garlic, and also meadow garlic. You know, there's a bit of a story behind this video. I've been trying to do it for several years now. But wild onions are kind of hard to find locally. Now, further north, like up in Gainesville in North Florida, they're pretty easy to locate in the springtime. But here, they're a little harder because I'm a lot further south. It's the challenge of being in the right place at the right time with a camera. Now, as you go south, you find less of them. So, you know, where I used to hunt for these locally has now been bulldozed over, and it's kind of a lake and a super highway and all that. And so I've been looking for them for quite a while. Now, 20 years ago or so, a friend of mine named Dick Derling, who I studied with when I came to Florida about foraging, said they were out on such and such road, and I've been out on that road many, many times over the past several years trying to find these. And yesterday, I did find them. So that's why we're doing a video, because I didn't want to do a 300-mile trip to North Florida just to do garlic, but I would have. It was on my schedule. So, anyways, but now the problem is, however, that country road is now suburbia. And so you're going to take a look at a lot of video on these garlics, but I had to put music behind there because there's a lot of traffic noise. So anyways, let's go take a look at that video, then we'll come back and we'll talk about these and itemize them, and they're really delicious. Inside the kitchen, take a good look at them. Well, we've moved about 30 miles and inside the Green Dean kitchen. Now, we're not going to cook with these because these were gathered right beside the road. It's a busy road. Now, if it was a country road and not much traffic, that might be a different issue, but these are, this road used to be a country road, some 20 years ago or more, but now it's busy suburbia, so we're not going to do that. But here we have, you can see the distribution. We've got hundreds and hundreds of little cloves that come from the top. They're actually called bulblets. And of course, down here we have the onions. Not too big. They're the size of pearl onions, which is interesting because pearl onions is actually not a type of onion. Pearl onion is a size. As a matter of fact, let me put my little Green Dean ruler in here to give you an idea. That's a little 6-inch ruler. And of course, over here we've got the plants themselves going everywhere from the bulbs on this end up the cloves up here. Now, these cloves have a very, very strong garlic flavor, very intense. They may be small, but they're powerful. And as you move down towards the bulbs are more mild. They still have a garlic flavor, but there's some onion mixed in there, fairly sweet as well. Now, these can be used exactly the same way as commercial garlic, or perhaps some of the onions. They are more garlically tasting than oniony tasting. So that's, and they're also very strong, so you need to be a little bit careful about how you use them, but it's a wonderful flavor. Obviously you can put them in soups and salads and stews and stir fries, and of course these can also go into salads and things of that nature. Very, very tasty, and then you can boil these up with little onions, quite nice. It's also nutritious too. But again, you have to collect them from wholesome sources. These would be a wonderful windfall. Now, what I can do with these, even though they come from the side of the road, is I can plant them. The longitudinal ribs that appear on the back of the leaves, which are characteristic of all plantains. All plantains are edible, but rabbits also love them. So I prefer to feed my wild plantains to my rabbits. To make food for the winter for my rabbits, I dry plantain and dandelion leaves in the sun. Like dandelions, plantain can be eaten raw in a salad or can be cooked in a pot. In either case,
whether dandelion or plantain, the best leaves to eat are the young leaves. When they get older, they get more bitter and more stringy. Here's a nice dandelion. In my video on dandelions, I showed you how you could make a very nice herbal beverage, a coffee substitute type beverage, using the root of dandelion. This plant, of course, is way too old to eat. These leaves will be very bitter, not very tasty, and it'd also be tough. But the best leaves to eat with dandelion, the best part of the leaves will be this part right here, the whitish part of the leaves that grow just below the surface. You can cook these up and eat these. Here are my pot herbs. I have a combination of plantain leaves and dandelion leaves. I washed them, added some water to the pot. We'll add some salt. We'll cook those down and see how it tastes. Okay, that's been cooking about 8 minutes now. It's cooking down nicely. Smells good. Smells a little bit like cooked spinach.
Burdock. Now these plants really stand out because of the size of the leaves. They can grow absolutely massive. Another key giveaway is the veins of the plant run out to the side and then fork out right at the end. Now the younger leaves have a really bumpy feel to them, sort of like a young cabbage one. And if you flip the leaf over, it'll be white underneath and have a sort of fluffy feel to it. The stem of this plant is very similar to a celery stick or rhubarb. It's got a reddish colour to it and it's really stringy.